evening to everyone and welcome back to ESL Southeast Championship Season 6 online playoffs. My name is Jojo Traveling Paris and I'm here with Brody Gosta Vernon to bring you the third seed for our LAN finals between Rift and X25 Esports.
Boy, hello there and greetings. It's going to be a perfect day for casting. The weather's nice and cool. It's not too hot this time, but it is humid. But hey, it's definitely good casting weather.
Excuse me, which weather are you talking about? Because where I am, it's snowing right now.
Well, I'd love to see some snow, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of snow tonight as these teams really get into, the nitty-gritty of the things, especially for the action going between the Rift Esports and X25 Esports. But the action that you guys can catch, don't forget we have some commands, we have a giveaway. So to start things off, !commands is going to bring up the list of commands that we're going to be mentioning soon. Just to remind you, in case you've forgotten, !cup for information on the event, what's going on, what is this event, like why these teams playing, where they come from, what's going on. !social to see where, we post a lot of things in the social, like when we're going live, what games are upcoming, all sorts of events, some few pictures over there that you can take a little bit of a peek at. !bracket is one of the main key things, which is where you're going to see, the brackets of the event, where these teams are going through, what's happening over there, where they come from and where they're going. And the last one, big one, giveaway to win yourself an ESL 2.9 chair, some vouchers for the ESL store, and definitely something you want to enter. I mean, that chair looks so pretty.
Well, and if you didn't reply to any of the questions you initially had, you know it. Just simply go to esl.gg/officialsec to reply to any of the questions you might have had. And talking about questions, we had questions about picks and bans, and here they are right in front of us. We have moved into the first pick and ban phase of the best of three for tonight. Rift is going to be on the blue side and X25 on the red, and we do see bans we really expected to see.
Oh, yeah, Malzahar, respectful, Braum, kind of respectful, Sejuani, very respectful there. And then we see the standard band, from X25, like they don't want to play the Ezreal, the Ornn's a very, very strong pick right now. And then they actually play, I'd say, respect band themselves. They get rid of the, Xerath.
Xerath and Miss Fortune are two picks right now that kind of dominate the bot lane. They're really, really hard to deal against, and they're kind of very strong against each other as well. We did see that the Zenza and the Azir and the Miss Fortune is open, and the teams right here kind of want to switch it up and trade things. So Rift straight away grab the Miss Fortune, most likely for the bot lane. They can swap her into the ADC or the support role if they would like to. And very, very cleverly, they did ban the Braum, which is a big, big counter to that Miss Fortune, whether it's ADC. As a support, Braum does suffer from all these range pokey supports, but banning it, I have a thought that Miss Fortune could potentially be the ADC for Rift.
I don't know, I think banning it was like a very good choice, especially if you want to pick her being an AD carry, because he can negate a lot of the damage that's going to be thrown your way. But speaking of damage, X25 managed to pick up the Azir Tristana. Like, you can see the priorities are a little bit different this time. They're going to be like, okay, we're going to get the first mid pick. Azir's a very strong pick. Then we're going to follow up with the Tristana. But the reply right now is a very aggressive Rek'Sai.
Well, let's see what X25 will choose to reply with in the jungle position, because that's a Sejuani that we've seen them play has been removed from the map. So Rift does feel threatened by it. They did ban it against Bontek when they lost against Bontek as well. They played against it twice, and then the third match they decided they don't want to deal with it anymore and they banned it away. Here we see it banned again, and they choose to go with a Corki in the mid lane for Rift. And
oh, you're going to have a bit of a tanky top laner.
Maybe I'm thinking that Miss Fortune in the end might actually be the support.
That depends. Like, Corki mid is kind of like respectful at the moment. I wouldn't say it's the best pick against Azir, but it's definitely a pick that won't really struggle way too much. Still very squishy, so I'm not sure how they're going to be matching that one up. So I could potentially see going all over the map, but we do see the Maokai top lane, which is a very tanky kind of pick. They did, however, take the first pick top lane. So we're going to have to see a response to this. Like, we saw them banning the Gnar as well when they picked the Maokai, who's one of the strong, anti-tank players. And then they also banned the Shen. So there's a lot of focus right now on the top lane. I mean, X25 have banned out 3 of the top champions, whereas Rift are just going for, a lot of the jungler focus, banning out Sejuani and Elise, as we've seen some very painful Elises before.
Well, it does leave open, I was about to say, it does leave open the more aggressive junglers, which is the Nidalee, the Kha'Zix, the Rengar, X25 plays all that stuff, and they do pretty much do well against the Rek'Sai. Let's see how the Nidalee, though, does against the Rek'Sai this time, and what Rift is going to reply with. Is that Miss Fortune the ADC, or is it the support? We are about to find super shortly, and of course, we are missing the top laner as well for Rift.
Okay, they have left, they went straight for the kind of let's leave top lane to last pick. Let's see what's going to happen. But Talon?
I am not sure that is indeed. Talon is Leona. Okay. So we do have the support, and it is a confirmation to us that the Miss Fortune is indeed the ADC.
I'm smiling. If they lock that in.
Jace does make a lot of sense in the top lane, especially because they have the Rek'Sai and then Leona to engage, and then they have all this poke with the Miss Fortune, the Corki, and the Jace that they can turn the poke into an engage, and they do a lot of damage there as well.
Well, like also Jace does, like you said, does a lot of damage, but like it's a very strong pick against an Azir, potentially, if you can get onto him and he has his ultimate down. And then also you have Nidalee, who's a very like squishy jungler. So I'd have to say that's a decent pick right now for them to get a lot more damage out. And I think that's kind of just going to the point where these two teams are having two kind of different styles. Rift Esports are going for quite a damage output. Like I'd have to say I wouldn't comp orientated, but they are going towards a lot more damage and early game potential. Whereas X25, you saw the Tahm Kench, Nidalee, Maokai, they still have a lot of mid to late game threats. So I think Rift right now are focusing to try and, get the game snowballing early on. And then X25 are just going to be trying to delay that. And they have got some pretty strong picks to kind of deny that right now.
They do, but on the other side, the Tahm Kench Tristana lane does suffer a little bit against all that heavy engage that the Leona provides in the bot lane, especially in conjunction with the Miss Fortune as well. Like, it used to be one of these very strong solo queue picks, the Miss Fortune Leona, and one ultimate drops on top of the other. But right now you have the Devour from Tahm Kench. So if the CC does land on Tristana, Tahm Kench can simply just devour the Tristana and spit her on the other side where there's no damage. Although it is such a pokey lane by the Miss Fortune that the Tahm Kench could suffer very early, that when level 6 hits, we could potentially be seeing the Tahm Kench being the target, because he doesn't start being so tanky. He gets tankier on the way, same as the Leona, but just the Leona just has that much bit more damage as well with the passive that she has, and of course the Miss Fortune that does so much damage early game that I think they do have an advantage in the bot lane. Although I will give the advantage to the Azir in the mid lane. He is in S tier right now. Corki has been suffering with the sustainability that he has due to Warlords being removed from the runes, and right now he's pretty much just damaged into the mid lane, and he really suffers being able to sustain in the mid lane to be able to push like he did when we had the previous runes and masteries up. And as for top lane, I mean, this is a pretty much one-way matchup. This is a Jace All-Star, so if we do see the Jace go ahead, it's going to be really hard to stop him. It's going to need at least 2 people to stop the Jace. It's going to need a lot of jungle attention. It might need mid-lane attention. I don't know. Well, I don't know how this is going to go.
I think with that Jace and Rek'Sai pick, I think they're going for a very strong early game. Like, if Rek'Sai can get to top and just help Jace snowball, it comes to the point where if Jay starts, solo pushing, you're going to have to not send Maokai, you're going to have to send 2 people. And when you do that, you lose a lot of objective pressure. You start losing a little bit, you can push the dragons, they can push other places on the map. And then if you team fight, you're going to be at a loss. So I think that's kind of like what they're going for, is to play at a very aggressive top lane and then a aggressive jungle to pair that up and help, get into the early game and just completely, try snowball. But like the problem comes, if you don't snowball Jace, he falls off quite a bit with damage, like especially in the team fights.
On the other hand, I am seeing a very heavy engage from the side of Rift and disengage, because the Rek'Sai could disengage with the tunnel. The Corki could have the package or his W to be able to get away. The Misfortune will suffer a little bit there, and then Leona could use ultimates and stuns defensively as well. On the other hand, I see an X25 which only has disengage. I mean, they do also have a lot of siege, but if they get siege, really suffers from heavy engage, and right now Rift has really heavy engage with the Leona and the Rek'Sai. Like, if the Rek'Sai flashes in and then Leona hits a spot on ultimate, this could change the whole game depending on if Tahm Kench is very close to the target to be able to devour and save their player, or that player instantly gets bought by Shock Blast and the Misfortune ult and all these damage sources that they have, even the Corki and everything. So what I'm scared of is that, yes, X25 has a very, very well constructed siege comp, which with the Nidalee heal and attack speed buff, Tristana is going to be doing so much damage on the towers, same as the Azir if you choose to go Nasus Tooth build. And then they have the Maokai ult, they can throw it underneath the tower, they can zone away Rift, and they can take towers, rinse and repeat, reset, and do it again. But, like I said, Rift has so much engage potential, and you can't really siege if the enemy has a lot of wave clear. And Misfortune does have that wave clear, Corki has the wave clear, and Jace, if he chooses to come into play and get onto that fight, he does have wave clear. So what happens when you don't have waves to push a tower and you get engaged on as a poke siege comp on the side of X25? Both comps have their pros and cons right here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say. Like, X25 have the pros where they if Maokai starts if he does get snowballed against and he actually manages to, you know, just farm out his lane, play kind of passive, play safe on the tower, and he starts getting to that mid to late game, he's going to be pretty tanky. And right now, I don't think anybody can just blow him up instantly unless they all work together. And when they do that, if you try and blow up the Maokai, that Azir Tristana is going to hop at you. And that's, you know, Azir is going to knock back a few people, going to do a lot of damage, and that's going to be painful to deal with. So, like I said, I think Rift Esports are going for an aggressive early start, especially with the Jace pick. You know, Rek'Sai is kind of very aggressive earlier on. One of the aggressive champions, I have to say. It's not Xin level, but it's definitely very aggressive. And then, you know, just to follow up the Leona Misfortune combo in the bot lane, they can start getting this moment level 6 hits. They can start going for these engagements where, like, I don't think Tahm Kench is going to be able to save too much early on once the level 6 hits, but we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see how these teams play out. Like, we've seen team comps win the early game before when they shouldn't. So there's a lot of action pack coming this way very shortly, but I don't know. Who do you think is going to take the early game?
I mean, it's not very clear because it can go either way. It really depends on the junglers, and I wanted to say that Zinza was open for both the teams to pick up on the whole first rotation of picks, and they chose, like, especially Rift, because Rift did pick their jungler on the first 3 picks, and X25 did on the second one where it was banned. None of the 2 teams, especially Rift, which they picked the jungler, chose to go with that Zinza, because if you see very closely, they only have that CC in the bot lane, so Zinza wouldn't be that helpful against the Maokai and the Azir on the other side. And I just want to see a lot of protection from the Nidalee towards the Maokai and keep him safe either with wards or like chill up there, because the bot matchup is sort of lost in the early game. And where they can shine and take it is probably mid and top. So Rift will have a pretty good time in the bot lane, and X25 will have a pretty good time in the mid lane and the jungle. So
looking at that,
I'm waiting for the Rek'Sai to be focusing more towards their top lane, if I'm honest with you, and then try to snowball that Jace. And you're gonna need at least jungle interference to be able to get the Jace off of the side lane ever since he's ahead.
It depends what bold Jace goes, but generally I can kind of see it going, get Jace 2 kills early on or 2 assists, and that's basically all you need to start snowballing. Like, it's especially against the Maokai. So you want to get Jace to the point where he can take the fight against the Maokai and he can actually burst him down quick enough, or, you know, pressure him under tower, or at least keep him from being effective. But I think in terms of a team fight orientated thing, if it gets to that point, X25 are going to have quite a great time with Marka being the frontline thrower and his ultimate, whereas Jace is kind of like left to kite in the back lane, trying to, you know, burst down somebody, or he changes to hammer form, smashes onto somebody and tries to get them out. And like Jace does a lot of damage onto Tristan, especially one of the squishies. And Azir is the same thing, same as Nidalee. So they're going to have to be careful for this. So I think that's kind of where the Marka pick came into this. Is like, well, we can have some protection. But if, you know, Rift do get ahead and they do get this snowball going, I think Jace is just going to keep Marka out, like, underneath his tower, or force, you know, the Nidalee to just kind of, not babysit, but at least be around the top area a lot.
So I have two edges to give to both teams. One is on X25 side, where they do have these two tanks, and we know this is a meta that requires either a lot of poke or two tanks in a team. And they do have that. They have the Maokai and they have the Tamkins. The Tamkins is very, very tanky, even very early in the game with the shield. And then on the other side, I will give the edge to Rift, because they have the exact opposite. They have all this poke and they have the early game. So depending on how many mistakes X25 will make, or how much they will overextend against this Rek'Sai, who's very, very dangerous early game, I want to see Rift take the advantage on that. And on the other side, if X25 does not make any mistakes, I want them to get the edge on sitting back, turtling the game, getting to a point where you make more damage, you are more tanky, and you're able to withstand that poke and be able to disengage from the engage and siege after making a pick or two.
Yeah, like, I completely agree. Like, X25 don't want to play this, like, they don't want to go into engagements early on. Like, they want to kind of avoid it, especially unless they go for 2v1 top lane, try and make a few ganks happen. But, like, I don't see them winning this early game way too easily. Like, especially Corki is going to be having, you know, kind of a hard lane right now against Azir, especially early on.
Alright, some of the required modifications live. We are giving, yes, lessons on how to do this at home as well, if anybody needs to know. But we're kind of doing it live as well for you guys. So here we go. First game of a best of 3 today is going to be Rift on the blue side and X25 on the red side. And let the battle commence, because we already have really aggressive wards from X25 in Rek'Sai's jungle. And look at where she's waiting right now. She's waiting sort of in the mid lane, because they don't know.
I think she knows.
They don't know if X25 is still in their jungle, and that Nidalee spear does hurt at the start.
I think she had a feeling, like, kind of like, oh, there must be a ward somewhere here. They must want to know where I start, especially as a Rek'Sai. But they did get the trade ward in the top lane as Marka just runs into Jace, who, yeah, that's not going to be much of a fight at level 1. That's just going to be a bit of a, well, I have abilities.
Let's just trade them.
Oh yeah, like early game you are going to see a lot of aggression from this Jace. He's going to be hiding, doing the usual thing, hide in the bush, poke when he can, deny that armor, and then just trying to do a little bit of poke damage before Marka becomes a walking monster where you can't really hit him.
Well, we do see the typical back and forth in the mid lane as well, and we have them in the bot lane too. The red fish is gonna appear on the Leona, and the Tamkins looks pretty hungry, but that Devour is not up yet. He's level 1, so he won't be able to make a move, let's say, onto the Leona. Pretty even lanes all over the map, except in the top lane where we haven't engaged from the Leona, because they do get the level 2 first, and I think that was a mistake by X25 in the bot lane right there. You want to pretty much back off when you know your enemy laner that has so much engage potential gets the level up before you, especially the level 2.
Oh yeah, that's like a general, like a global rule of thumb. Like if you're playing top lane and your enemy goes level 2, and you're level 1, get out. Don't try to fight that unless you know you're 1 more million away from level 1, and they weren't away from it. They were at least 2 or 3 millions away. So they did get a level 2 now, but I have to say, they're doing the aggressive stuff like they should, especially Leona and Misfortune combination in the bot lane. It's going to be painful to deal with early on, but they need to be playing aggressive, because once that late game hits, there's going to be some issues. Especially when a Fed, like, you know, Tristana is going to be just a sieging monster.
We do have the first teleport in the mid lane, but the Corki pushed in lane and came back again. We have the Azir starting with heal. There is no teleport on the mid lane of X25, and I just wanted to say that a lot of times when you are the one that's pushing the lane, you are more prone to making mistakes and losing CS. And right now, we have, if Tristana hits all the CS right here underneath the tower, we have even CS in the bot lane, even though Miss Fortune and Leona are pushing.
They are going for an engagement here. But as I say that, it's kind of like a bit of a poke battle on the bot lane, and why not? Because like at this stage of the game, oh, there goes the Ignite, and that comes the aggression we see.
Oh, the needle is
in the
coming.
area.
Spear's not gonna hit, but the jump is going to hit first blood for the jungler of X25. Leona's gonna flush away to safety, and we didn't even see the heal being popped, but the Maokai is in deep trouble as 3 members of Rift are up there. Might be able to get the Rek'Sai. No, he's not. A last minute level up is gonna keep him alive, and here we get the first kill. Well, it's not on the lane you wanted. You would probably want it on the Jace mostly, and the teleport is up for the Maokai to be able to teleport straight back into his lane as long as he's alive, and there's
And Rek'Sai
exactly
should be
what he
getting out
does.
of there.
Exactly.
Like Rek'Sai is taking a bit of risk hanging around there and teleporting there, but like that kill and Corki can help him in the mid lane, but you know, Azir's just gonna, the moment he roamed, Azir was like, well, I'm gonna push out this lane, I'm gonna go back, I can get some items, I can do this, and then I can continue to bully this poor, you know, Corki in the mid lane. Like, I agree you want to get the kill onto Jace to try and help him. He did get the assist, so there is that going for him right now, but the kill onto Corki in the mid lane, it's not helping him at all.
Well,
Especially since
saying
he's
that
still back.
as we do have a slight freeze onto the client. There we go. We're back into the game very shortly. I mean, what's a game without a freeze, right? From the client.
That wouldn't be a game right then. Yo, like this Azir right now, the way the lanes are working out, Jace is bullying the top lane, and we saw bot lane completely bullying them under tower, but then like Nidalee was just around, so we have the perfect engagement. They'll push so far up, got caught off guard, and there's not much you can do with that. And you couldn't respond. The only response right there was to try and take, you know, Dart the top laner.
Well, the Maokai is suffering quite a bit, especially since he already died once. Now the teleport is down, and thankfully for him, he did not waste the flash because there were 3 members of Rift. One way or another, he would have died. So now in case the Rek'Sai comes top lane again and she wants to get a kill onto the Jace this time, he might be able to avoid the death with the flash. But he's taking so much pain from the Jace.
Yeah,
The Rek'Sai is in the top lane again, boy oh boy, but the Nidalee is there to his defense this time, so I don't think there is a dive happening right now. We'll have an engage onto that Tristana, who is going to get devoured, and they're swapping straight away, but the Devour, since it's down, they can't engage onto that Leona.
Oh, you have to play it safe. Like, there was a defensive Devour going on, and then, like, once you see that, you kind of, like, respectfully, you know, just back off, clear the wave, and then try and kind of reset yourself in the lane. And top lane, you see how this Nidalee is just
It's a
hanging
2v2.
around.
We have pretty much a 2v2 in the top lane for a minute straight, I would say.
Well, 2 1v1s it seems to be at the moment. There's Rek'Sai and Nidalee are kind of going to just back off from the lane. I suppose Nidalee should be hanging around, but she will be spotted by a ward very shortly. So that's very, I don't know, like keeping Nidalee in the top lane just because of Jace is going to lose a lot of pressure on the other lanes. Like Corki is going to be having a hard time.
Oh, the Nidalee's in the top lane though, and the Rek'Sai's coming as well. Maokai is out of mana, but they have rooted the Jace, who is gonna be going down most likely. He's not, because Corki is gonna save him, and Jace is gonna get the kill with the shock blast. 3 people again for it in the top lane, and that Azir is unable to follow his mid laner yet again.
Like, Corki's been roaming a lot more than Azir right now, and that's kind of where Corki starts to make the
They
play,
could
starts to
re-engage
get
onto
the
that Tam
assists.
Kens though, and he is gonna be going down to the Ignite. I am not sure why the shield did not get popped right there.
I was about
think
to say, he didn't pop his shield.
exactly. Maybe he thought he would have survived. The heal was also on the Tristana, also didn't get popped. The E is gonna miss from the Leona, thankfully right there for the ADC of X25, because that would have meant most likely death.
Oh yeah. You see, Nidalee has found herself a Rek'Sai, but going to be favouring that red buff right there over trying to get a kill onto the Rek'Sai because they're not too sure where Chase is. He has just left his lane and gone back to middle. So, like, I agree with switching lanes right now. I'd actually want to have Jace in the mid lane just to bully this Azir because Azir can do that. But look who's hanging around just by the very aggressive chickens, I call them.
The very aggressive chickens. I like that. Well,
Well,
while
they
we
could.
were having all this terror happening into the bot lane, the first tower did go to Rift, so they are 1-0 up and 2 kills up. and about 2k gold up as well. I mean, it's pretty early to be up 2k gold. We're only on the 8th minute.
Oh no, like that's right now you can see them using this early game. You can see them being aggressive, you know, making use of the Jace, who is now 1-0-1, and the Maokai is just having so many issues right now. Like he can't deal with this Jace because every time he's under tower playing safe, trying to get a little bit of farm, trying to get back into it, he gets punished. You know, the jungler Rek'Sai is going to be there, but they were trying to make a move in the bot lane, especially Lily's here. But I'm sure they've kind of spotted it off and are going to be playing safe.
I mean, literally the only lane where Nidalee could potentially get a kill right now is the top lane. That's the only lane with any sort of form of CC that can lock down a target and kill him. All the other lanes are so mobile, or they have way too much CC, where you have the danger of Rek'Sai being able to counter gank even if he's further away than what he needed to be.
Well, I think like right now, Nidalee needs to focus a lot on the top lane. I think she needs to kind of try and help out the Maokai to try and make him a little bit more impactful, especially against this Jace. He's going to continue to snowball and be a pain. And look how far he is on the map. Like right now, when somebody's pushed up that far, you should be calling your jungler or mid lane to be like, can you help me please? But speaking of can you help me please, look who's going to be getting devoured on the bot lane to play defensively. And there comes the poke out from the Misfortune, and I think they're just going to back off right now.
I will state to what you said about how far the Jace was pushed. The whole jungle, though, was warded. The whole jungle had blue wards, so at any point the Jace knew whether he was safe or not. With his props right here to Rift. Oh, we're going to have another engage, but the Devourer is going to go down. The Rek'Sai is coming on the other way around, though. And the Devourer is down right now, so a dive could be happening, but also down is the Leona ultimate. They have left the mid lane. I mean, the mid laner has left the mid lane for X25 because he's pretty low, wasting the heal right there as well. Well, not wasting, using it most likely to keep himself alive. And like we said, look at all this poke that Rift has, and there is no reply from X25 on it. They just need to keep on turtling at this point. They're 3k behind, almost 11 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and Maokai doesn't have siege potential on towers. He doesn't have the split push power that Jace has, like nowhere near that. And
no,
that's just kind of forcing him to just, he pushed out the wave, pushed it in the tower, trying to deny farm, but there's not much he can do. You can't really siege it, especially, you know, when Jace comes to mid lane, he forces whoever's in mid lane to back off. Like, you can't really take him on too much, especially with the range, and especially with the Corki there, also throwing some poke. So right now, the poke is definitely being a pain, and I'd like to see them try playing a little bit more aggressive. We are slowly, 11 minutes in. We should start to see, the teams try to group up a little bit more, take down the bottom objectives, because both towers are still up. The mid lane is very low for Corki, and that's where they can work as a team now to try and make back into this and not let this gold lead start to stretch even more.
Well, saying that it is a 3 almost K gold lead, and the Maokai will have a little bit of a breathing air in the top lane to farm that wave and be able to get close to the Jace. He is relatively close for how aggressive this matchup is against the Maokai right now. I mean, 12 CS on minute 12 is not that bad.
Farm-wise, he's doing really great. Quite excellent, especially against the Jace, who's continually bullying him, has the wave clear, and can, catch up. But, that farm difference right there is only 6 right now, and Jace is only going to be clearing a wave, so I do expect it to kind of, hit 100 soon for him. But, that's not bad for him, keeping up. That's all he needs to do. And, once you hit the team fight, he's going to be way more useful than the Jace right now, unless Jace is able to jump onto the Nidalee or, get onto the Tristana. And with Devour and with Azir, I don't think he's going to be able to do that. So right now, I think the name of the game is going to be the Siege comp top lane.
Leona is going to be sitting on the ward. They are going to find her right there, and she's pretty threatened by that tongue of Tamkens. They are going to be jumping onto the Misfortune. The Ignite is going to go down on the Tristana, and now onto the Misfortune as well. Leona ultimate is going to miss, and X25 is running for the heals, because look at what we said. All that damage going down, and on the other side, they're taking the Rift Herald as well. Rift are making all the right moves on the map right now.
Oh yeah, and Those Nidalee spears are doing a bit of damage, but
Oh, they
there's
are
nothing
onto
to really
the
back
Maokai
it
right
up.
there. He's going to be getting knocked up into the air, but he is going to get the kill onto that Rek'Sai, the Maokai that has been beaten back and forth from that Jace. He is going to be diving into melee form and flash away from the Maokai. Luckily for him, the Jace does not have any more mana to be able to chase, and that was so worth right there for the top lane of X25. That's such a huge breathing air to be able to get one kill out of a 1v2 and get out alive.
And also, you know, Jace is very low. Like right now, Maokai completely outsustains him. You know, he still has low mana, but he's got more HP, he's got more sustain, the waves on his side, the maps on his side, and you know, killing the jungler, you know right now, like, okay, I don't have any pressure, mid still kind of shooting out in mid, so I can kind of just push, I can get back into this. You see the farm's kind of very even, especially now that he's got a kill.
Well, X25 seems to be wanting to group in the bot lane for exactly what you said. Group and take towers. This is what this comp is all about. It's about sieging. Azir ultimate to get the Leona back, but an engage back on the Azir will push Leona back on the other side of the wall, but she is going to be going down to the Azir in the end, and the teleports are raining in. Both the top laners have joined the fight, and now Corki is coming to the aid as well. And let's see if they're going to be able to catch the Jace, but why catch the Jace when the Corki has dived into the wrong neighborhood, and he is going to be going down to the Needle. Now they have caught the Jace as well, and I don't think he's going to be getting away from there. A kill for the Tristana, who's been starving so far with 3 assists, and here could be where things turn around.
I think bot lane needs to back off. Like the moment you saw that engage and the moment you saw that and you can't help out, like I think that's when you right then and there you either decide like, okay, let's sacrifice somebody, let's sacrifice the Corki, he went in, let's not give away too many kills, but they do manage to pick up another one onto Jace, like playing very aggressive, like we spoke about in the team fight situations, especially, you know, the 3v2s, 3v1s, Maokai's ultimate is definitely going to be way more better than Jace just poking from the side. And like Jace wasn't able to poke way too much at all, like he kind of just got caught out. You pop the Odin, you know, some damage is slowed, your speed is slowed, you can't do too much, and then you just got caught out. Like that's perfectly played from them. And right now, that's just showing the team comp right now. Like, okay, the gold leads now in our favor, guys. You know, 500 gold, let's, you know, siege out the tower, got the tower, and let's continue to move on.
I mean, the Corki didn't even have to sacrifice right there. From the point where Leona is dead, that's all your engage gone. You need to back off, because that's not only your engage, that's your tanky front line as well. I mean,
yeah,
the Rek'Sai is clearly going for a more aggressive route so far, and the Leona is the only thing you have between engage and tankiness. And since he's down, I don't like the Jace had TP'd in, but he was able to run away and get away, and then the Corki TP's in. I mean, I'm not sure what he was looking to find right there with the package, but he wouldn't be able to go 1v5 very clearly, and the Jace was running away, and then there was miscommunication because the Jace ran back into the fight all alone, 1v5, after the Corki was there as well.
Oh, and that's just, I think it's gotten to the point now. This is where you're getting towards that late game, and we spoke about the late game. Like X25 just need to wait it out. They just need to wait to tell Azir, you know, gets more powerful, can easily pop his Corki. As you see him just taking him out so low, he's gonna have to get out of there. And now they just siege as a team. Like that's perfectly played. That's exactly what you want to do with this comp.
There we go. On the other side, Rift is going to be trading the bot lane at tower. Maokai playing it safe, and might as well do, because that's 3 members that can do a lot of damage to the Maokai. Well, Same playing it safe. He is going to go towards the Leona. He is going to root her, but a root is going to be landing onto the Azir from the Leona ultimate as well. They are trying to chase this, but it's 2 members, well, making 3 now, because the Tamkent is coming and he's bringing gifts, specifically at Tristana right there. And I think it's about time that Rift start to run away from that Leona, because I don't think it's turning around right here.
Oh no, they should have run quite a while, like a while ago. The moment that Leona tried to go for an engagement, and the moment the Maokai went into it, you kind of know, like when they play this aggressive, there's somebody else coming. There's somebody else going to play aggressive. You know, they saw the Tamkent grabbing the Tristana and bringing her. Like you should expect that at this point, especially the way they're playing. But look in the top lane. If somebody doesn't stop this, you know, siege comp going on the top lane, Jace is just going to be a bit painful.
Scorcher right there was ready to pop the ultimate, but they decide to disengage instead and push the mid-wave. I mean, that is most likely a very wise choice, because there's 4 members right there of X25, and Wonky is most likely going to also top lane to assist the Jace to take that tower. That tower is pretty low though. Azir is going to be hiding into the bush, and let's see if Jace will try to move forward, because that might be a little bit dangerous for him at this point.
I think the moment he spots out the Maokai, he's kind of just going to back off a little bit. Especially, he is calling Rex to come help him out. But I think right now, with little vision control being cleared, right there, you want to back off. And that's what he's going to do. Like, you don't want to be taking aggressive. You are playing an aggressive comp. The gold lead is not really there, as you can see. There's only like a few 300 gold or so difference between the teams. Although the kills are definitely favoring X25. And this is where you're going to start getting the siege comp going. And that's kind of the name of the game. Like, if it gets any later than 23 minutes, I think right now X25 have a big advantage as a team. And that's where, if you're going to pick the Jace, Rexa, Corki lanes, you know, especially with the Misfortune, Leona bot lane, you should be going aggressive early on. You should be taking as many kills as you can, trying to force these, you know, objective plays, and then trying to catch people off guard under tower. And they did it, but only 3 kills. That's kind of where it gets to the point, like, oh dear, they're starting to get more powerful now.
I mean, let's be honest, there is not going to be damage to be able to kill even the Tamkens, which is less tanky than the Maokai right now. And you see that the Maokai is clearly playing for the team. It's going to be a Rek'Sai flash right there that's going to miss. And also the Leona stun will miss, and Nidalee is going to be able to just walk away from there. But what I want to say is that there's not going to be no player on the side of Rift that's going to be able to melt the Tamkens, let alone the Maokai, who is prioritizing a teamfight build rather than a side lane build. So he wants at any point to be able to TP into the fight. Saying that, he does pop the Righteous Glory to try and 1v1 that Jace. You see that Jace is not doing as much damage anymore to him. It's going to be a pretty much sort of even trade.
Well, like, once you get to this 20-minute in now, and Maokai has been keeping up with farm, he's quite behind now, but, you know, he has 2 assists, and he has got his ultimate. He's starting to get a little bit more items. He is so tanky right now. You just see his health regen right there with his abilities. You see how much damage he can actually output while being so tanky.
Flash and engage with the Azir ultimate is gonna come back, and he just dived back into that fight. Can he get the kill though? No! Flash from the Corki away from the soldiers, and I'm not very sure what just happened. I think that was misplayed right there for the Azir to literally jump back into his death, but the Tamkens has brought another gift again. It's going to be another kill for that Tristana. Well, it is Christmas, so Christmas is incoming now, I would say, and the Tamkens has to flash away from that because it's not going to be Christmas for him if he meets 4 members of Rift. The TP is going to come from the Maokai right there, and everybody needs to back off. Ignite down onto the Leona, and Rift wants to be disengaged, and they have got the Nidalee off guard though, and see, he's going to be getting popped, although the Rek'Sai is back there also. Double kill for the Tristana. Is she going to be able to get the triple kill? There it is. 5, 0, and 4. For a member of X25 that we're saying she was starving at the start. She was 0, 0, and 3.
And like now, this is scary. This is, you're going to get to the point of the game. Oh dear, guys. They have the team fight potential. They have so much more advantage going into these team fights. They can now siege these objectives. Tristana is, you know, getting triple kills. It's at the point right now, if you don't try and make a big play, or if you don't try, you know, catch somebody off guard, you're not going to be able to get too much. But they catching off guard. Here comes the perfect engage.
Well, the Maokai is going to survive in the end, and the other double kill for the Tristana. I mean, Rift needs to be careful here, because I wanted to say that the second this Misfortune ultimate gets casted, that Maokai is not scared anymore of it. He is going to engage you and interrupt you on top, and then there's going to be more damage coming in. At this point is where the tide turns. 5k ahead for X25 and 2 towers ahead and a bunch of kills, and guess where they're all at? On to the late game ADC that Tristana is, and it's 22 minutes into the game and she's walking into late game territory with 7 kills.
Exactly, and like, you can't really fight that. Like, as much as you want to try, like, deny objectives, you want to try catch somebody off guard, you can't do that with this Maokai up unless somebody pops him early off. And you saw him almost going down there. Like, if he went down there, I think they would have turned around that fight. They would have gone into the Tristana. They would have tried and locked it up. But she was able to just, kind of peel with the Maokai, do so much damage, get another few kills, and like that's gonna be painful to deal with. Like we spoke about the composition, like right now, like X25 have this late game comp, and right now it's getting to the late game. And not only is it going to be the late game, they have 12 kills for the whole team, and 7 of them are on Tristana. Like that's a lot to do, like to deal with, especially with how much she's just going to be sieging towers. And I don't know, I haven't seen too much split push from Jace. I haven't seen too much of him going back to take that top tower. I haven't seen him try and get back there. He's been forced to play around these team fights, and that's not really working well for them.
I think right now he is the most damage that Rift is holding into their hands. The Shock Blast hitting is a big no-no for Engage for X25, so that's what's pretty much keeping his team alive. They do have the Nidalee to be able to heal up any sort of poke that's gonna land, but there is so much poke from Rift, but they need to play it very safe. Like, they can't be sitting all together grouped up and poking, and this is where their composition stops making sense, because they do have a poke siege composition, but then you have the Rexa and then Leona, who are very teamfight oriented champions and engaged champions, and they want to be teamfighting, whilst the rest of the comp wants to be sieging and taking towers and being safe. Like, a Braum right there would have made so much more sense for the composition of Rift, and maybe you can say right here that Draft is winning right now for X25. They were able to play it very safe at the start, and then the draft is slowly taking form, while Rift's draft is slowly falling apart.
Like as we said, if you don't snowball on these champions, if you don't get, the early game lead, if you don't take such an advantage where you're extremely aggressive, where your Jace can kind of like jump into the Maokai Tristana combo, then you have run into the issues. And like that all goes back to the draft phase. Oh, my phrasing is a bit bad. I don't know. That's kind of like, well, oh dear, how do we kind of get back from this? Jace is going to have to split push bottom. He's going to have to try get top. You're going to have to try close this gold lead. But not only that, if you get an even gold lead, your team fight potential still won't match up to this. You still have to wait for somebody to get caught off guard. And I think right now, it's just too many squishes on the side of X25, especially going to a team fight. Like, Jace is going to get dropped low or potentially popped the instant a team fight erupts. Like, you're going to be focusing, popping down the Misfortune, and Leona right now can't really do too much against that. And compared to the Tahm Kench pickup, I don't know. There's not much you can try and snowball off. So, I don't know. The team fight comps right now, we're going to have to see what's going to be happening. Baron is up, and we are going to see a Drake spawning soon. So, potentially, we could start to see, the last of the team fights between these two teams.
I mean, the way that these both teams are, if a fight is meant to break, and 2 or 3 members of each team die, and the other one survive, there is a huge possibility for that Baron, because there is so much AD damage on Rift, and there's also so much siege damage on X25 that both these teams take objectives super quickly. The point I wanted to make is exactly what you said, that the Jace is not able to split push right now, because every time he finds this Maokai, he's not able to abuse him to the maximum potential. And right here, X25 are trying to sneak a Baron, while their jungler is showing that he's on the side lane. Not on the side lane, on the side bush of mid lane, and they tricked them. They showed them their jungler, that he's not doing Baron. They're like, okay, the jungler is there. There's no flipping way that they're doing the Baron, and here it is.
And that's just going to be painful. I'd actually say this is kind of where the game breaking starts. And right now, I don't know, X25 on the driving seat. They're doing very well. The Tristana is now fed. She's doing, I don't know, she can pretty much 1v1 anybody, and will probably 1v2 depending on who they fight. And just sneaking in the Baron right there, like, there's no vision for them right now. Like, you're going to see the vision go up now as, the team starts to get back into the map, but they've been shoved all the way back into the base, and that's a lot of, potential loss, especially Jace can't split push now. Maokai's too strong, he's too tanky, and the moment he gets anywhere near that top tower or anywhere near that bot tower, they're going to send, the Maokai to stop him, they're going to send somebody else to help out, Tristana's going to get there, so you can't split push, you can't take these team fights either, so what is left to do? Like, I don't know how you really get into this.
And do you see that poke? Nidalee is able to heal right through it.
Oh yeah, like, Poke's very strong right now in the current meta, but right now against a team comp position that has, a very strong support with the Devour, very tanky support, then they have Nidalee for the heals, they have Tristana just there to look at the damage she's doing to the tower. Like, I don't think you can really stop this.
Another spear landing right there, and that means Corki has to take a trip back to the fountain. And I mean, it's gonna have to take a mistake right here from X25 to be able to actually hand the game in to Rift, because I, like you, don't see a way that this game can turn around. Saying that though, they have found the Maokai all on his lonesome into the bottom, but X25 is coming to his aid really quickly. Shock Blast is going to land, and the Misfortune ultimate, but look at that. All the health bars are looking pretty okay still.
Like, they did so much damage there trying to get onto this, but like, it was all into the Maokai, who kind of has quite a bit of sustain. You see him, you know, the Lily's going to be using a lot of her mana to heal up, but look at the damage there, look at the health bars are refilling, and they're just going to see. Like, there's no reason they can't. They use so many ultimates to defend that first tower. Going to defend the inhibitor, I don't think they can really contest this.
Oh, the Jace right there almost went down, and like we said, that's exactly what the team comp of X25 is meant to do. You don't team fight, you just peel back, you take towers, rinse, repeat. They took 2 inhibitors by defending the engages both times by Rift. They didn't lose a single member. They were able to heal up all the poke that was coming out. And right there, you saw it. Leona ultimate came down, the Shock Blast came down, Misfortune ultimate came down, and none of this was critical to be able to get a kill for Rift. I don't know what it's gonna have to take right now.
Right now, I kind of think it's at the point where they're trying to just delay this game as much as they can. Try and think out a game plan and try and, you know, make some very, I would have to say, adventurous decisions to the point where, like, maybe let's try have a team fight. Let's try stay alive as long as we can, and then have Jace sweep push. Something very aggressive like that, like a backdoor or something like that. Because right now, you're not going to win these team fights.
Tahm Kench only and needily forcing the flash away from the Rek'Sai. I mean, when you see that stuff, you know that this game is going very, very grim for Rift.
Oh, and that's respect for out there. That's like, I respect how much damage you do. I respect that there's so much that can go wrong if I get caught out, so I'm just going to get away. Like, I have to respect this right now. And the Siege comp is moving on to the last remaining outside tower, and they want to get this top inhibitor, and look at the damage right there from just on. You can't fight this at all.
Well, Azir is going to be joining them very shortly as well, and there is no vision behind that base wall for Rift right now, and this is going to have to be their last stand. They're going to need to somehow find an opening before all the minions find their way into their base.
And they're just going to siege it out. Like, that's all they need to do, siege up and
saying that they have dived onto the Azir, who is going to be getting away, but the Misfortune is going to go down simply solo to the Maokai. And we're going to have a brawl right here. 2 more members of Rift are going to be going down to that Tristana. Double kill for her and a triple kill for her. 10-0 and 4, and that's exactly what we're saying. Misfortune stands still to cast his ultimate. Maokai is going to jump on you and kill you because he's tanky enough to tank any sort of damage. And
or you see they make a dive right here as they are.
They could try, and Defao is going to land onto the Maokai to save him. Good game, well played to X25, going to 0 and 1 up against Rift. I mean, we did have a game on our hands.
In the beginning, yeah.
In the beginning, at the start of the game, we said that if this Jace goes really far forward, we have a very intense game because we're going to need a lot of resources to stop this person from being able to rush our whole base and go literally straight a whole lane towards our Nexus. And then we kind of saw X25 losing their advantage early game, but they didn't, like, it's what we said, they were losing fights, they weren't losing the war. So
yeah,
they played it very clever from the fact where you let go of some stuff because you know later in the game you're going to be able to take double as much back. And Rift's draft really fell off late game. It was like sort of semi-engaged, semi-poke, semi-split push, semi-siege. Like, it wasn't like a specific team comp. It was like bunch of champions put together. It could work. Yeah, it could work at the start because there were early game champions, but then in the end there was like no protection, because if you take that Leona as your engage tool with the Rek'Sai, what happens to the backline? They're just gonna be there without any protection at
It's just
all.
going to be shredded, and I think like that's just going to change the whole aspect of going into the next, draft phase. Like right now, you're playing a team game. You're playing 5v5. Right now, you go for the team game comp. You go for who's going to win you the game. And as much as early game individual strong players can win you the game, they did well with the Rek'Sai Jace top lane. You don't snowball enough to get to the point where now you can 1v1 everybody. Like Tristana got back into that. They did so well, and then they just won the team fights, and that's kind of where the comp was going towards the team fights. You let it go there, you're going to be losing. So I think the draft phase right now is where a lot of weight is going to be sitting on Rift's shoulders, especially after what they've just witnessed.
Exactly. Well, you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go into a very small break, and we're gonna bring you the second game of our best of three between Rift and X25. Let's see if X25 can take it to a clean sweep and force Rift onto the third seed, while they take a trip to the upper bracket to face Bontek for the first or second seed. So we're gonna see you very shortly. Stay tuned.